Good evening. I don't know why I was about to say good morning. I've not been on live in what feels like years, but I feel like it must be at least 6 months around that mark, or maybe like 4 or 5 months since I was last on a live. So I thought, you know what, let me jump on and we can have a discussion, because I know these lives can get vibrant. And recently I actually saw somebody make a reaction video about one of my old live videos from last year. So I thought, you know what, let's bring them back. So I'm Vanessa Canby, as I'm sure you watching will know because you're probably my subscribers. But for anyone new here, I create content about moving from the UK to Ghana. I interview people who have moved from the diaspora to Ghana. I also do real estate videos, and I also do like tourism stuff if I go to hotels or, you know, that sort of thing. And so I thought I would just come on and do like a live Q&A. So if you've got any questions, feel free to just write them on the side there. Yesterday, we had this amazing in-person event that Wodi Maya created called Meet and Create. And I met so many content creators here in Ghana. And it was just like amazing. It was so, so great. And so I thought, you know what, let me come on live on Sunday, you know, maybe connect with some of those people that were there yesterday. And thank you so much to everyone who came. There must have been at least 200 people at this Meet and Create. And there's a lot of different videos that people have created about it. So I'm sure if you just search Wodi Maya Meet and Create, you'll see them. So if anybody has any questions, or if anybody wants to jump on, actually, let me share the link in the chat. You can, I don't know if I can pin it. No, I don't think that's possible. Feel free to copy that link, put it in your box, and you can join in this chat if you have a question, or you can just write a question down the side. Okay, so we've got our first question here. I'm thinking of coming to Ghana for Christmas. What are the requirements to enter regarding COVID-19? So at the moment, you have to get a PCR COVID test, which is negative 72 hours, up to 72 hours before you fly. So you'll get that in the country that you're leaving. And then you have to present that before you even get on the plane to get to Ghana. And then when you get here, you get a COVID test. As soon as you get off the airplane, you like come out, you turn left, and then there's all these little booths, and they do the COVID test there. You then go through immigration, you go and collect your bags, and then there's like, before you can leave, you have to have had your negative COVID test. So now they actually have it pretty slick. So by the time you've been through immigration, by the time you've got your bags, normally the result is there and you can walk out. At the start of this process a year ago, there was like quite a lot of waiting time, maybe 30 minutes. But I think now they have it under wraps. So basically, it's just like a very smooth process. But that COVID test, when you arrive, if you are a citizen of Ghana, if you have a Ghana passport, it's $50. If you aren't, it's $150. I know, a lot of money, basically. Okay, so let me have a look at this question. People kind of leave the Caribbean out of many conversations about relocating. Oh, like people leave the Caribbean out of conversations. I see what you're saying. I mean, I've been to Barbados on holiday and it was amazing, but I was a child. So I feel like I can't really comment on that. I want to go to Jamaica within the next couple of years, 100%. And it would be really interesting actually to hear more conversations about people who have decided to move to the Caribbean. So I think there most probably will be YouTubers that talk about that sort of thing. I just haven't seen them because I've not really looked for it. It's unfortunate the Achampong family wasn't around on the Wodi Maya meeting. I agree, as if you've seen my weekly vlog from last week, you will have seen how devastated I was that they left. And hopefully they'll come back, but I was honestly so sad. And also my kids were really good friends with their kids. So I was sad on that side of it as well, that like my kids were kind of, like they won't be able to see their friends as often as they were. And also I and my husband will be able to see our friends, but fact of life, I guess. Yeah, if anyone wants to jump on the live, feel free. Let's see. What do you do in Ghana for fitness and recreation? I wish I did fitness. Do you know what? I need to start. So I've reached out to this yoga company because I want to try and do yoga in the mornings before the kids even wake up. So 5 a.m. I want to start doing yoga. Somebody come to the house and do it. I would love to go somewhere and do it, but there's not classes really at that time. I mean, it is really early, to be fair, but I just want to try and get it out of the way before the day starts. And the other thing I want to start doing is boxing, like just boxing for fun, fitness boxing. So I did this shout out on my Instagram and so many people responded. So I think there's loads of options for that as well. So I will get started. But at the moment, to be honest, like I'm naturally losing a lot of weight and getting, not a lot, right, I'm taking it too far. I'm naturally losing a bit of weight and getting more fit just by what I do, like the job. I'm out and about, walking, that sort of thing. We go swimming a lot. So I think that is the sort of fitness I get naturally without having to go to like a gym and work out. But my husband, he runs, so he'll run around the neighborhood. He was going to a gym as well, and he works out in the house. He's much more fit than me, or like takes fitness more seriously, should I say. Okay, let's see. I'm wanting to come to Ghana for 3 months at a time. Is it possible to rent for such a short time without having to pay a full 6, 12, or 24 months rent at one time? 100%. There's so many empty properties. Anybody looking to rent. And the annoying thing about it is sometimes people they're just not really that bothered. I guess they must have so much money that their property's empty, they really don't care. So if you come in and you say you want to pay less or something, they'll say no. But anyway, that's a whole other ball game and conversation. But for what you're asking, yeah, I would maybe go onto Airbnb and see what's available and then give them an offer if they've not really got many bookings within the 3 months. Because if you've not got bookings and you're on Airbnb, I'm sure you'll want to take bookings. I've seen a lot of apartments where they'd say that they'll take 3 months. So yeah, there will be options out there. To what extent won't you reply a comment that drives traffic on your video? Sorry, I don't get that. Feel free to elaborate. Let's see. Would you recommend buying land on Ghana? Haven't been to Ghana, but spouse is from Ghana. Well, I think land obviously is a great asset to have. I think that buying land here is a very complicated process depending on where you want to buy it. If you want to buy it in an area where it's not very like hot, like not loads of people want to live there, it's not like a prime area, I think that's one thing, and that's probably quite straightforward. If you want to buy land in an area where a million other people also want to buy land, or a lot of the land's been bought up, so there's just a few pieces left, that is another issue. And that's when you can come into issues of, somebody else saying it's their land, land guards, which are people that come to the land and basically say you need to pay them money. I've heard of people having to pay for their land multiple times, but at the same time, I have also heard of people who have successfully managed to buy land and are living in their houses. But I just think it's not straightforward. It's not like buying land in some other countries which have a process which is accountable. I actually have a whole video on this which you should watch. I interviewed a lawyer, and it does sound very complicated, but he speaks about the land issues. And basically the issues are that there's so many different systems in place. There's the traditional systems, and then there's the legal systems which came in after colonization, which took on some of the laws from other places, which means that they're kind of like mixed up together, which makes it difficult when buying land to make sure it's like legitimate and that sort of thing. But that was a really roundabout way of saying, I want to buy land and I'm going to make it work and happen, whatever the issues are. Let's see. I'm planning on coming mid-October with my 3 children for good. It'll be my first time in Ghana. Your content has really helped with my decision. Oh, thanks. That's so nice. I'll share the link again if anyone wants to join. Yeah, contact me, email me at hello@vanessacandy.com. I'd love to come to your farm. Love shooting farm videos. If anyone's seen my pineapple video of me touring a pineapple farm, I think that was one of my favorite videos that I filmed, weirdly. But it was just seeing the whole process of the pineapples being planted, or like the succulent. I mean, I just had no idea how it worked. And then I got to see the whole process, I think, and my mind was just blown. I really loved it. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, so how reliable is broadband in Accra? May have to do a working holiday. What kind of broadband speeds are available? So I wish I could do one of those broadband speed checkers. I don't know how clear this is coming across to you guys. Hopefully it's clear. But my broadband is extremely reliable. The only time when it cuts out is when my electricity runs out, and then it cuts out. That, I mean, I'm on top of when the electricity is about to run out. And also, I feel like I spend so much money on electricity. I also spend quite a lot of money on internet, but I know my friends have internet for way, way cheaper than me. So maybe I'm just overpaying, or I'm not with the right provider. But yeah, internet for me is perfect. That's all I'm going to say. But I do pay for it. I pay like 800 cedis a month, which is £100 a month. Are there business opportunities? Of course. There's so many, so many business opportunities. If I had like more time, I would start so many businesses. I have a list of businesses that I want to start over time. Some of them will come to fruition. I'm going to join. Hi, how are you doing? Hopefully I can hear you. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. What about you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Did you have a question?
So I have a couple questions.
Okay, cool.
And I want an honest answer, because a lot of people don't always say they want to say the more PC thing. So
okay, I'll try.
Okay, so living in Ghana, let's say being brown skin, do you get a lot of people basically trying to take advantage of you when it comes to, like, let's say your accent sounds different, they might call you American even though you're not American. Do you think that, is it common that people try to basically increase the prices to ridiculous amounts? And how do you usually this is Dr. Kaiser, how do you usually get around that kind of option so that you don't, I guess, lose face? Because I guess some of us want to go back home and we just want to be, just chill, but we get called Oro, I forgot, some Onibo. It's Nigerian word. Yeah, okay.
Oh, right, okay. Right. It must be like the equivalent.
I guess, right. Because I'm from, I get called, can I use the N-word or no? Don't know.
No, let's not.
Okay, so I get called the N-word yo. It's like a, they think I'm American, right? And then basically the point is my prices go up significantly more. And yeah, so how do you get around that, especially if you're doing business? And how do you feel safe? Because obviously if you do have more money, because it's true, we do have more money. That's just a fact. I think I also dislike when people from their diaspora say they think we have more. It's not they think that, we really do have more money. If the average pay in, let's say Ghana is $2,000 a year, we coming there with a $2,500 a year, a month salary, that's obviously more money than them. So how do you get around not feeling bad about not helping, even when you can help, but then also knowing that you can't always help? Yeah, just generally, what's your feelings about?
Okay, so I think there's quite a few things to unpack there. The first one is about being like overcharged. Yes, that happens a lot. And I think the way that I get around that is just by knowing what the price is. And how did I ever find out what the price is? I think it's like kind of figuring these things out by asking people, like how much, for example, yesterday, there was a coconut seller outside my house, and I know that coconuts should be maximum 2 cedis, and he was saying they're 3 cedis. And the thing is, I understand they sometimes, if somebody's selling something and they think that, you know, I can afford more, they want to charge more so that they can make more money. I actually get it, and I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, I think, you know, it's not fair, and like some people might not find it fair. So it's just like finding out what the right price is, and then I'm just like, that's not the price, I'm not paying that, and then I just pay what it is. But then a lot of the time, to be honest, especially with people selling on the street, if somebody does that, then I'm probably not going to give them extra money. But like, you know, the change. But if somebody tells me the right price, then I might just say, you know, keep the change, like a lot of the time, especially, you know, with water and stuff like that. The other thing you were saying was, how does it feel, you know, potentially having more than some people? I think that's actually like quite a difficult thing in terms of, especially when there's people on the street, you know, like kids coming up to the car and that sort of thing. I think it's so sad, but it's so difficult to know what's the right thing to do, because obviously you don't want to encourage parents to bring out their really small children onto the street, which is dangerous. So I feel like giving money can encourage that and can encourage the parents to bring the children, but at the same time, you don't want them to like go hungry. So like I would give things like food, and then also like when my kids go out of their shoes, like I'll give shoes and clothes and things that are helpful that aren't necessarily money. And there's things that I'm working on now that I want to create to make an impact on people in the country. But it's just like figuring out the right thing to do and the right way to do it is, I think to be honest, I think I've come up with what I want to do. It's just now implementing it and finding like staff to actually start the initiative. I don't know if, and the other thing you were saying about making more money than other people, it's difficult. And I think it's just about like being generous, hiring people in the country, making sure that you're making an impact. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I think that's great. And, you know, if I'm being a little bit greedy, just one final question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so is it possible to change the image of Africa while being truthful about it? Because I won't mention any names, but there's some YouTubers who only show good things. But, you know, where's the balance of showing the truth as a totality versus trying to change the image at the same time? And, you know, which practice do you believe you might go into as you grow as a person and the channel?
Wow. I mean, like that is like the number one question. At the start of my channel, you know, I did a bit more, like I showed more of probably both sides. And I think it's so important to show both sides. But I think more recently, I've gone into just showing positive things. Although on my weekly vlogs, I like to show my actual experiences day to day. But there is some things that I won't bring to the channel, only because I think it might come across worse than it is. And I think that being on the ground, things can sometimes not be exactly how, you know, you might experience it somewhere else, but that's just the way it is. And it's just like a fact of life. And I think, yeah, things need to change. But so where's the balance? I think it's important to show some of the things that need improved. but I also think it's important to show the positives so that people realize that there's so much to offer here, that if you come, you can actually help be the change. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think I love the answer because you mentioned about like you said that there's some things you won't show because it's too nuanced that people will get the wrong idea and only focus on maybe the shock factor and not take on more from it. So
thanks so much for your questions. Like, they were so good. I'll see you later. Okay, so let me see some of these questions coming down. Somebody asked about what internet do I use. I use Vodafone, but I think it's expensive. I mean, it's expensive, isn't it? Like, very expensive. Let me have a look. What were people talking about here? What are some of the businesses that you'd recommend to set up in Ghana? So a lot of the businesses that I feel like do very, very well are the ones that are for everyday things. For example, toilet roll production. But the thing is, when you're doing a production, like a manufacturing company, I think there's a lot of money that has to go in behind it. But those sort of companies do extremely well, you know, water production, if that's what it's called. Those sort of manufacturing companies, agriculture, a lot of good money there. And there's a lot of like farming land, fertile land that you can use, as well as just so many things, even in the creative industries, things like talent agencies. So as you know, I'm sure, you know, there's a lot of influencers and things like that, you know, like what I do. There's not many talent agencies that I could sign with that are now going to manage what I'm doing. And I think that is actually a niche that needs to start. If I had time, I would do something like that. I also don't think it would be easy per se. So I'm not trying to add it to my roster of a million things that I do. Yesterday, the way you explain monetization was fantastic. Oh, thank you, because I've been overthinking what I said on that stage since I said it. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me add Afro Carib to the stream. Hey, how are you? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Wasn't sure you were calling me. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
And hi to your viewers. Um, I'm. It's a very tricky situation. I wanted to respond a little bit to what the previous caller said. Um, I personally am from the Caribbean, and I've lived in 3 countries, and I'm about to embark on living in Ghana. And I think it's interesting that we who are either in the diaspora, who come from either Africa or the Caribbean, or what they refer to as a third world, which is a phrase I hate, but say developing countries, we tend to have the idea that when we get to the quote unquote first world, that the things that are offered in those society, for example, development, access to services, etc., which is great, but the things that are lacking in those societies, the absence of community, the way people just pass each other in the street without speaking to them, people literally live as if they lived in caves. Your neighbors, you don't know your neighbors. You drive in, you go into your house, they go into their houses, they may wave, whatever. Those are the things that are absent. So it's like a trade off. But at the end of the day, nothing is static in life. Things are changing. Africa is changing. It's not the way it was 20 years ago. Neither is the US. The US is on the decline, for example. I live in Canada and it's a great country. I've lived in the US also. So I can basically say I'm somewhat of an expert on living in the Western world as well as living in a developing country. And I actually returned to my country twice and lived there for 7 years and then again for another 4 years. So it's not like I don't have rose-colored glasses on. When I first went back, I can see some parallels between that and going to Africa, because when I
Mm-hmm.
back, it was like there was a shock, culture shock, because I'd left there when I was 17, 18 years old, and I used to visit every couple of years or once a year. But when I moved back, I mean, the frustrations of how slowly things are, the lack of access to certain services that you're used to in the West, everything's so easy, whatever. Then after a while, you adapt, and I think you adapt, and it's in a good way, because you have to realize the world is not the same everywhere. If you go to Asia, it's not the same as it is, and even though there are more development there than possibly countries in Africa. However, I think we as melanated people, some people don't like the term black, whatever, people of African descent, we have to understand that we will stay in the West and continue to criticize Africa if we don't do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Europeans built their countries. Some people feel at the expense of Africa. That's a socio-political point of view, which I do support to some degree. However, what are we supposed to do? We live in countries where we're treated as second-class citizens. So unless you're willing to remain in those countries and have what you'd call, like, uh, great life, i.e. materially, but socially, psychologically, ever, you suffer. There's a lot of depression, there's a lot of anxiety. The young people here are full of anger and, I mean, hopelessness, because they don't have the same access as other groups. So I don't understand. I watch a lot of these channels where well, Africans, continental Africans who are in the diaspora, continually talk down their countries. And yes, you left because just like I left, my parents died, so I had an older sibling that took us here, but we left to find opportunity. But that doesn't mean you necessarily should stay where you are and then criticize the country you came from, because you have an opportunity to do something to elevate that country. And so it's a really tough subject for me, because yes, Africa isn't where it's supposed to be, but it'll not get to where it needs to be if we all stay in the diaspora and say, oh, it's this, there are open sewer gutters, and there's this and there's that. What are you bringing to the table? I'm not talking about a savior complex to go there and say I'm going to save, but we need to help to build, for our legacies, for our children and grandchildren and great grandchildren, so that they don't have to talk about Africa in those terms. And so I really respect what
Mm-hmm.
people like you are doing, because I feel love. You were the first YouTuber I ever watched before Wodamaya. I saw you go
Oh,
towards
thanks.
Aglobloshi, that dump. It was
Agriculture, yeah.
heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to see, but I've seen similar situations where I came from, and I see it here in the West. There's a lot that goes on. I just saw this doctor talk about, he lived in Budapest in Hungary. He's an African American. He said he was in villages a few years ago where 20 people were using the same toilet. Now, when Europeans put forward their countries, they don't show you the worst of their countries. They show you the best. So what you and Wodemeyer are doing is no different. The West does not go into the urban ghettos and show you all of that stuff. What do? They show you the beauty. They
Mm-hmm.
want people to come to their countries. So what you're trying to do, it's no different. So when they criticize people like you or Watermice, why you always showing one side, that's what they do. They don't show you all that dirt, So keep
Mm.
doing what you're doing, Vanessa. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I support you. And I'm happy to see you and your family enjoying. And I know it's not perfect. I don't have rose-colored glasses. I'm not romanticizing the move. I know I'm going to come there and it'll be a culture shock and all those things, but one has to think about what one can get. That's
Mm-hmm.
just so much what you're losing.
And I
That's what.
feel like there's so many things in what you say there are, I resonate with practically everything you said, but there's a few things that really stuck out for me, like community. For example, when I drop my children off at school, like if my daughter is feeling a bit sad about going to school, she'll get a hug. Like the teachers are so kind and loving, and I feel like, and I had a one-to-one with my son's teacher, and he was just really, really nice and saying amazing things, where I feel like when I'd have one-to-ones with the school in the UK, it was very like serious, and at school I feel like it was very serious. There wasn't really that love there, because I guess there's so many rules around how you can be with children, which I totally understand. But I feel like if a child's crying, sometimes you should be able to hug them. And I think here, it's much more, the community spirit is there. And also like the open gutters, for example, and me and a couple of friends were talking about that. And somebody was talking about how you can like recycle plastic and you can make it into roads. And even that could be used over the open gutters. But it just needs the people here to be able to do these things. And, the more minds that are here, the more development that can come.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, thanks so much.
Possibilities than problems, You're going to have problems wherever you go in the world. So all the best, and hope to one day see you out and about. Okay,
it would be great, and I hope your move is as smooth as it can be, and that you enjoy yourself here, and hopefully, see you in the future. See you later. Bye. Oh, wow, that was so powerful what she said. I'm going to try and read this comment. I've been to Ghana. I felt it wasn't for me, so I left. That's fine. Like, not everyone's the same. Not everyone likes the same things. For me, I've been coming to Ghana ever since I was 3 years old. So it was definitely ingrained in me from such a young age that it felt like home for me. But not everyone is the same, and not everyone can, adapt to a different way of life, full stop, let alone Ghana or wherever else. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, fine.
Hi.
And you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, that is great. Well, I'm watching you here from the UK, and I've been watching some of your videos, and very interesting. I'm a Ghanaian. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian born, and I used to go to Ghana sometimes, and I know in the business field in Ghana it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult, because I've seen some people coming down to Ghana that they have left. I mean, they bring a lot of money, they invest, and within 4 years or 5 years, everything fucked up, because the people try to get rid of what the investment the guy is doing. So what I'm asking is, in Ghana, is it possible to invest? Or if the person is not there, is it possible that he can invest? Or unless you have to be there before?
So I'm not an expert in investing and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if invest in what, I guess, is probably the question.
Yeah, that is well, you can invest in companies. You can. I mean, I know.
What sort of thing? As in investing in somebody else's company?
Or it can be in somebody else's company, or it can be in. I know some people. Or one guy will invest in Jamaica, and they do a company where, I mean, they do tomatoes and they put it in the bottles. So
Yeah.
It's a huge investment. So in this case, you have to go there and do it. Or how do you feel about it? I don't know, as you have been there.
I think it depends. You have to really do your due diligence. There's some companies that I have interviewed people there, and the companies seem really solid, and I would maybe be not, at this point, I'm probably not able to invest a lot of money in certain companies. But there's companies, what I'm trying to say is there's companies that I have been to that seem very legitimate, and that their progression is going to go up. And that, so it's just doing your due diligence and figuring out about the company. I think it's possible, and there's companies that you can invest into. I mean, you can look at certain companies that have done very, very well. For example, what's that Flutterwave in Nigeria? They, that's a company in Nigeria. I mean, there's also companies in Ghana that have Jumia. No, not Jumia. It's not from here. You know, there's a lot of tech companies that have started small, done really, really well. That some people might think that you don't want to invest here. I think there's a lot of opportunity to invest. That's all I'm trying to say. But obviously, you need to do your due diligence.
No, that one is true. That one's true. Because I know people, you know, I know a lot because I'm staying here in Milton Keynes, and I know a lot of Ghanaians who really want to invest back in Ghana, but everyone fears that their money will be fucked up. Because, I mean, I don't know what to say about it, but it's very difficult because we haven't get a real channel to have people where you can invest really to make a possibility that to have it. I mean, change.
I think it's possible.
People's life. It's very difficult.
I think if you're investing a large amount, you should definitely come and see the company for yourself and use, I don't know, financial somebody to check the company out. Yeah, well, I think you have to go there to see the company and see what's going on, definitely, because, you know, how would you know that what was going on was really going on unless it was quite a big company already? But I think it's possible, basically. And I'll try and look into it more.
No, I understand.
And there's the Ghana investment. There's some company here run by the government which helps with investing, so you could maybe check that out as well. And yeah, thanks so much, and I will see you later. Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I didn't really do that right. Okay, let's have a look at the comments a little bit. Some of these comments are just quite funny. Right, let's see. Hi, how are you doing?
Vanessa.
Hey, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, thank you for taking my my video.
You're welcome.
Yeah, are you back in Scotland? Or?
No, I'm here in Accra, live and direct.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Thank you for your all your great works, man. You've been a great inspiration to us. My question to you is a bit like the previous person. It's a bit like investment. What happened to me? I've actually by default sort of gravitated towards Gambia. I don't know if you know about the Gambia. A lot of us tend to.
Yeah, I've never been there, but I've had friends ever since I was a child. I have friends from the Gambia who grew up there actually, and it seems like a really nice place. It just seems like a smaller place than Ghana. Yeah, it is. It needs compared to Ghana, it needs a lot of development. But I kind of got there by default because you're going to think this is dumb, right? Because I went to the Gambia, yeah. I actually booked a ticket to Ghana because I needed to. When something draws you to, I felt something was drawing me to Ghana, yeah, especially when the year of return. And me stupidly, yeah, because in the Gambia you don't need any visa, you don't need. You can see where the story's going, right? Yeah, you arrived with no visa. Oh my God, what a dumbass! I feel so embarrassed to even say it, but yeah. So I kind of. By default, something was saying, I don't know what happened, but anyway, so I kind of invested in the Gambia at the moment. But what I plan to do, I'm still being drawn to Ghana. So what I'm planning to do when I'm over there, I'm going to try and get there, by the coastal road, because you can follow that from Gambia, drive down to Nigeria. You know what I mean? You can get to Ghana from the mainland, basically. But what I want to say about the previous gentleman, because what happened to me was I noticed obviously the pound, yeah, to the city. Is it a city? It's a city, isn't it? The city. Yeah. It was about 8. It was about 8. Yeah. But in the Gambia, it's almost like 60. It's 60 something. Yeah. So your pound went a long way. Yeah. So I then looked at basically the cost of living. I thought I'd have a better chance because I haven't got any, when you haven't got a family and stuff, you make connections. But I thought, yeah, the pound would go further. So I invested in the Gambia. But what I was going to ask you, when I've been watching your videos, it seems like Accra is getting almost,
you know, for the normal person, it's getting really expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
wondering, I was looking at investments in maybe just on the outskirts of Accra, and like the difference between buying land and building, and also just buying a property that's already built. So what do you think about that?
I think if you're not going to be here, buying land and building is going to be quite tricky.
Yes, yes.
Unless you have somebody here that you really trust, that you can send the money to, that they can then oversee what's going on. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if you've watched the video with Nana, who built her house in Ibri. She even lived in Ghana. No, she didn't. She was in South Africa. She was sending money to a contractor, and
She got ripped off, right?
yeah, like she lost
I
a
saw that.
lot of money. So I think it's just so important, if you're going to do that, to have somebody on the ground. Whereas if it's an already built house and you buy it from, and you do your due diligence, get a lawyer, get them to check that the land's legitimate, all that stuff, I think that's easier if you're not here. Especially outside of Accra, you can probably get some really good deals. In fact, I know you can get some really good deals.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, I've had that experience because of the this, I call it the pandemic. Yeah, I wasn't able to, just when I was going to go to the Gambia, everything got locked down. So I've had experience of sending money over there, building stuff, and man, I've experienced some. Even the people that you think you trust, man, they once they get the money coming in, it's like there's no one to oversee them, so you can't blame them. So I totally understand, but my plan is to actually get to Ghana, and then
I think if you're there, then it's fine. There's also some, I mean, if you've seen some of my videos, for example, the tiny homes, they can be built in like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, that's me. That's me all over, man. Like that sort of price, So yeah, give thanks, Vanessa. Anyway, so
thanks for coming on. Yeah, see you later. Bye. Okay, let me have a little look in the comments. Trust is a big deal when involving money. That's what I mean. I mean, when I say somebody you trust, I mean a very close friend, or not somebody that I've recently met and somehow now trust. Has to be a proper trust if I'm sending somebody money. Yeah, you have to have a network of people you can trust. I definitely agree. Ghana is an investment destination. It's a growing economy. That's why the YouTubers put more effort in educating potential investors who want to return. I think the thing about Ghana is that the government is quite stable. The political situation, that's it. The political situation is pretty stable. And I think that's why it's probably quite an attractive country to invest in. Although I've interviewed some people who, for example, Ni Ama, his interview, which was ages ago. If you look back, he owns La Villa Boutique. You should check that interview out to see his thoughts on it, because they're quite interesting. But I can't remember what I was about to say. Let's just bring somebody else on. Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, hi, Vanessa.
Hi, nice to
and hello to your listeners. Yeah, I just wanted to add something to what the others have been saying. I do believe that you can run a business in Ghana without having any fear. Of course, people, I think at times they forget to do their due diligence. For example, I live in Denmark, and I would like to say I run a successful business in Ghana that I'm managing from here. It's all about finding the right people, likely-minded people, and people that obviously that you trust, and how you treat them in terms of the salary and the benefits that that you make available to them, so that they are able to do the job that you want them to do. And also there are companies in Ghana, consultancies that you can acquire their service, and whereby any business that you want to set up, they can actually manage the business for you, and they are experts, they are registered companies. So if you do your due diligence, you will come across these companies, and you actually also find out that they they have other businesses that they actually managing. So they will do the business plans for you and everything, and of course it comes with a cost. But there are companies like that. And also, I really appreciate it, and I like the fact that you and the other content creators are portraying the positive side of Ghana, because it's all about imaging, and it's all about the way that we package our own, our own, because other countries, they are doing the same. They are not showing the bad side of their countries. I live here in Denmark. Yes, everything is good, but they also have their bad part. Yes, the good is mainly, you see, the good part outweighs the bad. But in Africa, I think I see it as a family. When you have a family, the bad things, you hide it, you don't show it to the world, and you try to fix it internally without, so the issues that we have in Ghana, we people in the diaspora, we can go back home and then try to fix those issues without exposing ourselves. We go there and we fix it. We don't have to show it to the world. We don't have to show them, hey, we're suffering, we're having this issue. As long as we know we having the issues, and we can go and then fix it. It's not that we are hiding it, we are being in denials. No, that's not what we should do. We should recognize those problems, and then we should be prepared to fix them. But we don't have to show it to other people that don't even care about coming back home. So a question for you, Vanessa, since you relocated to Ghana, is it everything that you've been hoping it will be? Is it what you've been experiencing? Because there's a difference between going on a visit and then actually making the move.
So first of all, actually, I want to ask you a question, which is, what business is it that you run in Ghana?
Okay, it's actually a poultry business, a poultry farm, and hopefully one day I will invite you.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, I'm vegetarian, but I'll still come and film it.
Okay.
So how do you keep track on what's going on? Do you get updates, videos, or do you just trust that everything's, going to plan?
I mean, yeah, I get update videos when I request for it, but again, everything is we have a system whereby everything is registered. And
Oh, right.
when it comes to poultry, it's actually very difficult for something to go wrong unless you are not up to date with what is going on. Because first of all, you have something called the standard. When it comes to mortality, you have the standard mortality, so you sort of have an idea how many birds that you expect to lose next week or within 2 weeks. So you can monitor that and see if your mortality is higher than what is expected. And when it comes to production, you also have an idea how much production, which in this case, if you're doing layers, you have an idea how many eggs that you're supposed to be getting when they are, let's say, 21 weeks, 22 weeks. And then you can compare what is actually happening on the ground. You compare it with what is standard, right?
Okay.
So you can know if you are doing well or if you're doing poorly. And obviously, they cannot report more eggs and then and uh, sell maybe less. If they report 20 crate, then you are expecting to sell 20 crate. So you can keep track of that. But I think what some people do most of the time is that they don't know anything about the business itself. So, and if you don't know anything about the business, it's very easy to get
For
cheated.
people to take advantage of you.
Exactly.
And as for poultry farming, what's the sort of profits or the
Yeah.
return on what is it? Basically, what's the
Yeah.
not how much do you make, but let's say for one chicken, how much do you make in a week?
Yeah, in a week, again, it depends how many layers that you have. I mean, if you're doing broilers or if you're doing the layers, but the more you have, of course, the more profits, So currently in Ghana right now, the cost of raw materials, maize and soya beans is quite high. So if anyone is listening and they are thinking to venture into poultry farming, I will actually advise them to just, pause for now and monitor the market for a while, because we just finished our production cycle and we are waiting, just to so the cost of raw material goes down before we bring in our new batch. So yeah, people should slow down, but yeah, it's very profitable. Again,
Okay.
layers, you have them for 2 years. So again,
And then
there's
what do you do with? Sorry, I'm not trying to get too deep, but what do you do with them
no.
afterwards?
Oh, it's all right. Yeah. We actually we have a company, this guy that normally comes to buy them, and then he will take them to Cote
Oh,
d'Ivoire,
to sell.
yeah, to sell. But we're trying to change this because there are few processing centers in Ghana right now. Some of the big poultry companies like Boris B in Ashanti region in Kumasi. Boris B actually has his own processed chicken now called the BBC, Boris B chicken. So
Right.
they also buy the spent layers. That's what we call them, the spent layers. After
Oh,
production,
wow.
they
They
buy.
lose the fact that they're animals. They just get called spent layers.
Yeah. So
Anyway, okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, so to answer your question, I feel like in my head I'd already moved. Like I wanted to move so much that kind of in my head I'd already moved, and I was so ready that when I moved, yeah, I had a couple of issues around it was more just overwhelm of now I was kind of, my business was the one that was making, the money for the family. I had that sort of overwhelm, which I didn't really expect. But apart from that, it has been everything that I would have wished for and hoped for. And I absolutely love being here. And of course, everything has, some challenges here and there, but I'd rather be having challenges in the heat than challenges in the cold. So yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. Thanks so much for coming on, and
I thank you.
Yeah, I'll speak to you later.
And keep doing a great job.
Oh, thanks, appreciate it. Bye. I found that quite interesting about the poultry farming. I don't really know much about it, and I've contemplated should I go to one because I'm a vegetarian, but I do eat eggs. So let me have a little look at these questions. This is a business I would love to get into, poultry. Is it better for them for meat or for eggs? Should have asked him that, but I guess he does eggs, so maybe it's eggs. I think eggs would probably be easier if I was thinking about it, because meat, then you have to rear them, and then you have to rear them. It seems like more of a turnover of animals. Okay, let's see. Oh yes, somebody's actually got their camera on. Hi, how are you?
Wow. Hi, I'm good, thank you. Sorry, I'm looking like a silhouette right now. I need to put
Maybe
light
if you
on.
turn around so the light is. Oh yeah,
There you go. How's that work? Much better.
Yeah, great. So have you got any questions?
Yeah, I do. I've got loads, but trying to think of the super pertinent one. I think I guess so. I'm actually British Ghanaian. You can probably tell, but I live in Australia, and
Wow.
yeah, so I'm all over the place. And the reason why is because my daughter's mum is Australian, so I moved to stay close to her. But I'm really keen to when she gets older, she's only 3, get her to Ghana and get her to sort of be in touch with her, her heritage and stuff like that. So that's something I want to do. But I think my question is, because you obviously grew up sort of your part, is it Scottish, right? Scottish and Ghanaian, yeah. Like, how did you come to like have such a strong affinity for Ghana?
So when I was growing up, my mum made sure, and this sounds weird, me saying it's my mom's Scottish and my dad's from Ghana, but my mum, as soon as she knew she was having kids and that sort of thing, she knew that she wanted us to have a connection with Ghana, because we were growing up in Scotland, so that was a given, we were seeing our family in Scotland all the time. So my mum wanted us to go to Ghana every second year, so from the time I was born I went to Ghana every second year. My mum bought like books about Ghana. I mean, my dad was there, in the house cooking the foods he liked to eat, and talking about how his life was when a child in Ghana. So I think it was just always around me. And then when I got to age 16, I loved being in Ghana when I was a kid, running around with the other kids. When I got to 16, I went with some of my cousins who are also British Ghanaian. They lived in London. And they were there and they all went out, sort of like clubbing. Anyway, so I think that was the turning point, was seeing the fun aspect as well, and I made a lot of friends and my own friends. So it wasn't just my family that I was going for. Now I had my friends, and I think that really changed everything and really hyped up the love for Ghana that I had before, but now it was more of a personal thing because I enjoyed it myself as well as being family friends. I think that's for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to encourage that on the other side as well, because obviously being separated is a little bit harder to influence what's happening. But I guess in the time that I have with my daughter, I definitely, like get her kente dresses and little things like that. So hopefully that makes a difference. And her mum is Egyptian heritage, to be fair. So she has 2 reasons to go to the continent. But yeah,
I mean, it's amazing that you went to Australia to be close to your child. I absolutely
I appreciate that, but I think a lot of for a lot of it's not exclusive to Ghanaians, but for a lot of people, their story is that they didn't have enough presence of their fathers, and so it was super important to me at the point we separated to be determined to stay around. So yeah, I'm making a life here. It's not terrible, so I can't complain. It's English speaking and stuff. I haven't had to adapt too much, but I would love to meet more Ghanaians in Australia. So that's something I'm working on.
Nice. Well, I think it's like echoing. So it was nice to speak to you.
Oh, good to speak to you.
I'll speak to you later. Sorry, guys. Basically, I think his mic was too loud or something, and also so many people dropped off because of that echo. Sorry. Do you know what I did? I just muted my headphones when I heard it echoing, but I didn't really realize that other people were also hearing it. Let me just see any other questions. The best and first investment most African country needs is the infrastructure. We need good roads for a proper network. We all know who's on that. And if you guys know who's on that, then feel free to comment it. Hi, Nelly. How are you doing?
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Lovely. Hi, I won't keep you long, I promise. So firstly, I just want to say you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'm nowhere near relocating anywhere, but I'm loving that there's so many various people on YouTube at the moment documenting it and being realistic and on the younger side, so it does give us some element of hope. So two things. One thing before I ask the question, I think everybody's sort of talking about sort of investments and businesses back home and things. And I say back home because I am second generation, so I still count myself as being African. But I just also want to add, it's okay to take your time and to be realistic and not feel the pressure to return back with a business. There's also nothing wrong with relocating to retire. I think everybody, well, I don't know if people know this, but when you're living outside of the continent, there's a lot of hard work that goes on. It's not as laid back as it is in the motherland. So why not use the time that you have to relax and settle in? I understand everybody wants to make an investment and an impact, and it's lovely. But I think if we do that and focus on it, some people get so disheartened when the businesses don't go well, and then they sort of just paint it with the same brush. That you know everything is going to fail and people are negative, and sometimes it may be just lack of research on our part. Anyway, I won't bore you with that. My question is, I'm actually a teacher in the UK, north of England, and I've had the pleasure of coming to Ghana, but Tamale Kumbungu, and I've also had the privilege of being in Zambia. So just to open it up, are there any other countries in the continent that you'd love to visit, and why? Yeah.
So I really would love to go to Rwanda next, probably. And that is because, you know, I've heard about the infrastructure there and how amazing it is and the way that things work. And I know that there is, you know, questions around sort of governance and that sort of thing. But I think it would be, you know, great to see it on the ground. But also there's some incredible properties there, places to stay that I can document and that sort of thing. Another place that I want to go to soon is Sao Tome, which is only 45 minutes. Is it 45 minutes or it's an hour and a bit away from Ghana? So it's going to be like a short flight. Yeah. And it looks so nice, more of a holiday destination. And then, you know, there's other places that I want to go, but I think they're the next two that I would love to go to. I want to go to Tanzania, Kenya,
I would like
East
to
Africa,
try Tanzania, yeah,
and see how it compares. Also the Gambia, which somebody spoke about earlier on in this call. And yeah, I mean, I'd go back to Nigeria for sure, but it's just like time and planning. I also, you know, how about you? Where do you want to check out?
Tanzania, definitely. And you know, I have no specific reason. I just think it looks like a lovely country, and I think Swahili is a beautiful language. I think sometimes people want us to have a deeper meaning about which country you want to go to, but I would just say I just love it. I think it looks lovely. But I won't keep you because I know there's other people on the chat, so I'll let you go. But again, so lovely channel, and we'll gladly like every video that you post.
That's so sweet.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
I think that's a really good point about retiring. A lot of my family, well, you know, there's a few that I can think of, have lived in the UK and then retired here and get quite a lot of help, you know, if they need it and that sort of thing, getting older. And it's actually something I want to do, and I've been trying to interview people that have retired here, but you know what, I'm going to make it a priority for next week. Oh look, it's 2. I don't know if anyone believes in like synchronicities. Okay, so here's Vanessa. Does the Django Brewery guy do tours? Yes, they do tours. I think you can just reach out to them on Facebook or on Instagram and you can tour around. Really cool place. Let me have a look in the comments a little bit. You're absolutely correct. After working abroad for 40 years, I'm just looking forward to return to relax and travel. Yeah, I do think though there's like some, I'll get into it when I interview somebody who's retired here, but I think there's pros and cons. I mean, there's pros and cons with everything, isn't there? let's see what's going on here. I will email you offline to find out your rates to do an interview. Please, can you interview? Let's see. I think I'm going to get off the call in a second just because, you know, it's late. But if anyone has any last minute questions, feel free to send them on. And I am so grateful to each and every one of you for watching this video and for continuing to support my channel. I'd say recently it's been a bit of like a, you know, like views and stuff like that haven't really been coming, which I think a lot of the time is down to the algorithm and it pushing them out. So any shares that you do of my videos, of my channel, you can go back, look at old videos, share them if you like them. I would really, really appreciate that. Liking videos, commenting on videos, that all makes such a difference to the channel. And because I took a couple of weeks off in the summer because of like all these things that were going on, it's really difficult to get back to where I was before I left in terms of views and things like that. So really appreciate it. This is a great question. Great end last question, which is, how is your land search going? Are you looking at Avery? I have actually purchased land at the beach. And I love how, like, that's something that I said I pretty much wasn't going to do because I was speaking about the beach and how there's issues around obviously having land at the beach. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty obvious why there would be issues with that. But I want to do it more as a business, like have a business at the beach. That is not going to be my priority for the first build, though. I really want to buy land in Avery. And the land that I wanted now isn't for sale, and I'm so gutted because I made a decision and now I can't get that land. So I'm trying to work on it, but it needs to start soon. I'm the sort of person that when I say I want to do something, it has to happen now. And this decision has now been going on for almost a year, and I cannot bear it anymore. It needs to just happen. So watch this space. Hopefully it happens very soon so that I can just get started with the build. I can't wait to share all of that on my channel. It's going to be a whole series. I'll be updating you. My husband's dad actually, I think, is going to help with the overseeing of the project because he's into construction, which is so helpful. We're talking about people we can trust with these things. You know, that's perfect. And so hopefully that starts very soon. In fact, I shouldn't say hopefully, it will start very soon. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Some people aren't subscribed and they don't know they're not subscribed. So please do subscribe, share videos with your friends, and see you later. Bye.